When you think of an Arc Titan build in Destiny 2, 99% of people are going to look at the Heart of Inmost Light exotic, and you wouldn't be mistaken with that. That exotic is nuts. However, I wanted to look for a new exotic that could benefit the Arc Titan, and I've had a few mentions on both TikTok and YouTube about the Insurmountable Skull Fort, and I wanted to see what I could come up with, and boy, did I sleep on this exotic. Insurmountable Skull Fort fully refunds your melee energy and starts health regen when you get a single kill with your powered melee, and this can allow you to do some pretty insane ability spam. If you enjoy this video, leaving a like and subscription helps me out a ton, and it will also get my handsome dog Reese a new toy. So do what you will with that information. Now let's get into the build. Our subclass is going to start off with the Thunder Crash Super, and then the Thruster for our class ability, Thunderclap for the melee, and Pulse Nades for the grenade slot. Thunderclap allows us to get the most out of our melee damage, and Pulse Nades are looking to be the better choice when it comes to Arc Titan grenades for right now. For our aspects here, we're going to be running with Knockout as well as Touch of Thunder. The reasoning is that melee kills after we do a certain amount of damage will allow us to start health regen even if we don't use our powered melee, giving us a ton of health regen to pair with the Insurmountable Skull Fort. Touch of Thunder is an obvious choice due to how strong the Pulse Nades become when paired with that, spawning ionic traces periodically as enemies are damaged by the grenade. For our fragments, we're going to start with the Spark of Resistance, giving us increased resistance when surrounded by enemies, as well as a plus 10 to strength. Next is going to be the Spark of Magnitude, which allows our grenades to last longer. Third is going to be the Spark of Shock, which jolts any enemy that gets hit by our pulse grenades, and this is going to pair alongside our last fragment, which is Spark of Ions. This allows us to generate an ionic trace anytime we defeat a jolted target, giving us even more ionic traces. Just in the subclass and exotic alone, we are able to get a pretty decent amount of ability spam due to all the jolting and ionic traces we have. Now, since we are going to be trying to jolt a lot of enemies with our build, as well as spamming our melee, it will be an obvious choice to pair a weapon that has Volt Shot alongside it, like the Ikelos SMG for an example. You could also go with the Path of Least Resistance Trace Rifle from Season of the Seraph as well, because as long as you are jolting more enemies, you can be spamming more abilities. Before I show you what the mods we are going to run with this build, we are going to go over some stats that I recommend going for. I would recommend going for 100 resilience, 100 discipline, and then either 100 strength or 100 recovery, depending on what you value more. 100 strength will be nice to get your melee back faster on the off chance you don't get a kill with your charged melee. However, that won't be too often, but that last stat will be up to you. For the mods on our build here, we're going to have double hands-on the helmet, so make sure that is an Arc Affinity, although once Lightfall drops, that will be no worry. On the gauntlets, we're going to go with Bountiful Wells, so be sure to have a Solar Affinity armor piece somewhere. Again, this will not matter in Lightfall. On the chest, as well as the boots, we are going to have Melee Wellmaker, allowing us to spawn a total of 3 Arc Wells on charged melee kills thanks to Bountiful Wells. And then lastly, on the class item, we're going to have double outreach as well as Well of Ions, which gives us increased melee damage after picking up an Arc Elemental Well, and outreach allows us to get our melee back once we use our class ability. So make sure you have an Arc Affinity class item for now as well. Overall, this build synergizes perfectly in unison, allowing us to spam a lot of abilities as well as get our super back a little bit faster with hands-on, so we have a really strong build here. I cannot believe that I slept on this exotic for as long as I did, and I highly recommend you guys trying this one out for yourselves. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to, again, leave a like and subscription so I can get my boy Reese some new toys. If you want to see some more of my content, be sure to check out both my Twitch streams as well as my TikTok. Both will be linked in my bio. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Submine vault's locked down tight, but the maintenance shafts are just big enough to fit you and all that armor. Happy crawling.